Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we're going to look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone, so do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, let's jump on in. We're going to start, as always, looking at overall energy with oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. So let's start here. Sagittarius, looking at your side of this connection to the person you are dealing with. Ooh, confusion. So maybe you're feeling confused about where things stand. Oh, and wild card. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this person's energy feels to you very unpredictable, like never really knowing what it is that you're going to get. And maybe one day, they're very present and, they're showing affection and effort, and you're like, oh my gosh, they really care about me. They really want to be with me. But then the next day, maybe there's a little bit of lack of that. And that back and forth energy has brought a lot of confusion for you. With this passion card, it's obvious that there's a lot of passion here. I feel like you have a very strong pull to this connection for sure. And I feel like that's why this has been so hard for you, especially if you feel like you've never felt this way before, or you feel like there's a lot of potential for feeling really good in this connection. It makes sense why, you'd be kind of holding on through this back and forth energy that I feel like this person is showing you. But overall, I feel like you have this confusion. You're like, I don't even know how they feel. I don't know what they want. And I get, why you would feel that way, just kind of based on what this feels like. But let's see what we've got in their energy. This person's energy toward you, Sagittarius. Forgiveness. What? Hang on. Drama. Manipulation. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay. I feel, and I saw this forgiveness card and I was like, I don't necessarily feel like this is them feeling like they need to forgive you. This feels like they're constantly asking you for forgiveness, or always oh, I'm sorry for doing that, or I'm sorry for treating you this way, or I'm sorry for saying that, or whatever. I feel like they're constantly doing things that are putting them in a position to apologize. Now, they might not apologize, though. They might not apologize. I don't know. I feel like that kind of depends on the type of person you're dealing with. This drama card, if you look at it, I feel like that this can really be taken in a couple of ways. I feel like this person, in general, is maybe a little bit dramatic, but I also feel like this person has a tendency to wear a mask. It's like they present themselves one way, but then who they really are and what they really feel is a different way. And I don't feel like it's the bad way. I don't feel like they're pretending that they have feelings for you and they actually don't. That's not what I feel. I feel like they do have feelings for you and for this connection, but I feel like their behavior, like the way that they show up, sometimes like makes it feel like they don't. And that's where I feel like you get very confused, is because there's such a discrepancy maybe between like the way that they behave one day and the way they behave the next, or like between the things that they say and the things that they do. And it's like they're constantly making decisions that in some way are hurting you. Now, this manipulation card makes me feel like, I don't feel, they could just be outright a manipulative person, but that's not necessarily what I'm feeling here. I feel like they are really good with words, like really good at saying the right thing, maybe even sometimes doing the right thing to like pull you back in, or to get back in your good graces almost, because it feels like they're doing things that are constantly kind of putting you on the defensive. And it feels like then they are it's like they do these things to push you away, but then they do these things to pull you back in. And it's very confusing for you, as it would be for anybody. So I don't really know what's going on with this person or what's going on here. And maybe that's why you're like, I don't either. That's why I'm watching this reading, because I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on with them. All right, truth of this connection between Sagittarius and the person they are dealing with. Detachment. It's like it's really easy for them to detach almost. And then there's love. But yet there is love here. So that's really confusing. It's like there is love here, and it's mutual, because I do feel like you have feelings for this person just as much as they have feelings for you. But it feels like it's really easy for them to detach sometimes, almost like they go cold or they go distant, and it just seems like effortless to them. Like it seems like they don't really care. Like they don't really want this connection to work based on how they behave and how they act. Now this romance card, but then it's like they come back with like maybe big gestures, or with all the right words or something. Maybe they are really good at apologizing. But it's like the behavior never changes. So I don't know. Something I feel like is very confusing about this. And I know confusion was literally the first card, so that makes sense. But I'm very curious. Like I want to know. I want to know what's going on. I'm getting a little nosy here. This isn't, obviously my connection, but I'm getting a little nosy because I want to know what's going on with this. I feel like probably just as much as you do, because I feel like there is a lot of curiosity here. Like, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? Overall theme of this reading for Sagittarius, and obviously this is just overall energy, so we're going to dive deeper into the story with tarot literally right after I pull these cards. So overall theme of this reading, it still hurts. What? Second option, and there will be a return, with lessons are being taught. So I feel like this person has a tendency to be very in and out of your life in some way, or like, which we knew, right, with this wishy-washy energy. And it feels like there's this tendency for this person to treat you almost like an option, or like, not that you are an option in their life. Like, I'm not saying they're choosing between different people. Maybe if that resonates with you, sure, but that's not what I really see this as. To me, I see this as like, they have this tendency to not prioritize you, to not like put you at the top of their list, or to not prioritize like your feelings and maybe even how their actions are going to affect you, which is ultimately what you do deserve in relationships. Like, you deserve people who consider you my gosh, that was so weird. Who consider you? And in terms of like how they're going to act or how they're going to behave. But it feels like this person just has this tendency to find their way kind of like back into your life or back into your good graces, just to kind of like hurt you all over again, or like to put you back in this position of like being on the defensive. So there's definitely a cycle here. And I feel like at the core of that cycle is the fact that you do love them and you do care about them. And I feel like on some level, like you know that they love and care about you too, which is why maybe you have a tendency to give them a chance or let them back in, or to give them like the opportunity to do better, which I wouldn't blame you, right? When we love and care about someone, we want to make it work. But let's see what we've got here. Sagittarius, with your side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Sagittarius's side of the connection. Nine of Swords. I feel like this person has a tendency to make you feel insecure, like in a way that you aren't used to feeling. And not that like, I don't think, because I don't feel like you typically are an insecure person, or like it's not typical that somebody can make you feel the way that this person makes you feel. Because again, I do feel like they make you feel really good sometimes, and I feel like they make you feel really not so good sometimes. And that those, kind of moments where things are good really make it feel like it's worth it. But then you're right back into like this Nine of Swords energy, this lack, this confusion. And I feel like that creates a lot of anxiety in the connection with like, what are they going to do? Like, when's the next time they're going to mess this up, or they're going to do something to push me away? And it's like, it keeps you very on edge almost. With the Three of Cups in reverse, I feel like you're kind of torn between like wanting to like distance yourself and kind of, create like a little bit of security for yourself, but then also you do still feel that draw and that pull toward the connection. And I feel like that is because you do see a lot of potential here, because with this Seven of Pentacles, it feels like you are very loyal when it comes to this connection. I feel like you have invested a lot, maybe even over a lengthy period of time. And you've invested a lot because you do care about it. But then it just feels like you're constantly left with like the short end of the stick in a way. Yeah, because there's the Knight of Swords in reverse. It's like you're putting all of this time and this energy into this connection, and it just feels like nothing that you do never really does feel like it is enough. I mean, here you are as the Queen of Wands. But what about that? I mean, we saw the Six of Cups on the bottom. So it feels like, it's like this connection is so familiar to you. It's something like, I don't know if this person's been a part of your life for a really long time, or if the dynamic in this connection is something that you're very used to. Like you're just used to giving a lot more love than you receive, or like you're used to, people maybe not fully prioritizing you. And that's just something that, your connections up until this point have like taught you that you're worth, which you're not. You are deserving of the love that you have to give. Absolutely, 100% without a doubt. And you can have it. That's important for you to know. But for some reason, I say for some reason, but I feel like it's pretty obvious. I feel like this connection has you really, really stuck in your head, just kind of a lot of overthinking, a lot of maybe even second guessing yourself, like second guessing your value and your worth. And I feel like it started to, if not has been, taking a toll on you, because I mean, this is going to affect anybody on a deep level when like you're kind of feeling that push and pull and you're not really sure, what's happening and what's going on and what someone's going to do and how they're feeling and how they're going to act and how they're going to behave. Like that inconsistency is freaking torture, because you're constantly wondering how the hell they're going to make you feel. And, at the end of the day, like you deserve to feel all of the wonderful things that you make other people feel. because you do have value, Sagittarius, even if some people struggle to treat you as if you do, or even if some people don't treat you as if you do. Other people don't determine your value, you determine your value. But I feel like I said all that, and it's like, you probably already know that, you know how you feel, but I think that looking at like your side of this connection is a good way to figure out, like, okay, is this really your reading? Like, does this resonate with what you're thinking, what you're feeling? Because then that can help kind of put a little bit of trust in whether or not the reading is meant for you. But let's see what this person has going on. We have drama with forgiveness. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. The Sun. I knew we were going to see the Sun in reverse for sure. The Sun in reverse with the Four of Wands in reverse, their ego is the foundation for all of their decisions. It's a shaky foundation, but it's a foundation nonetheless. So what that really means, well, hang on, let me get one more here. There you are, showing up in their energy. Let's break down like what the ego actually is and what it actually does. And if you watch my channel, you probably already know this, but for those of you who are new, our ego is not to be demonized. Its primary goal is survival. I mean, it literally is it exists to keep us alive. Like, it is what keeps us from stepping in front of a bus. And it's incredibly important that we have an ego. However, it becomes an issue when we identify completely with what our ego craves and what it desires, because our ego desires what it thinks can help us survive, even if that isn't necessarily what is best for us. So when somebody doesn't love themselves, or they don't like themselves very much, or they are deeply insecure, and they aren't aware of these things, or they aren't, doing the work or the healing to work on these things, they construct an ego. They construct an identity through the lens of the ego. And what that basically is, and I feel like this is kind of talking about what this drama card is, what this mask card is they pretend to be somebody that they think that they need to be in order to be safe and to be loved. Ultimately safe, though. And the ego it's where you get like that grand sense of self, the version of them that when you hear like someone's egotistical, it's like, oh, they really love themselves, or all they care about is themselves. And sure, to a certain extent that's true, because it can be their decisions can be very selfish in nature. But when you're dealing with someone who primarily identifies with their ego, they actually don't like who they really are at all. So they lean heavily on the version of themselves that their ego builds in order for them to feel safe, lovable, and good enough. And when that is the case, they will not let you get too close. So as you start to get close, because they don't want that mask they don't want you to see behind the mask. They don't want you to see who they really are. Because again, they hate themselves. They don't like who they really are. They're feeling very insecure. And so they will do literally whatever it takes to keep you at that distance. And that, I feel like, is what happens in this connection is, things feel good in, for a time. And then as you start to get closer and as connection starts to deepen, this person's fear of like, oh, you getting too close and finding out who they really are, like, they start to push you away so that you don't see behind that mask. Now, what's interesting about this is I feel like you do see this person for who they really are. And I feel like you do love them anyway, or maybe you struggle with that, but I kind of get this vibe that like you really see like who they really are, and you have a lot of empathy for that. Because people who are, come off as a little bit narcissistic, or and I'm not here to diagnose anyone, so I'm not saying this person is a narcissist, but people who have a tendency to present themselves from that place of ego, it's not a grand sense of self. It's actually a lack of a sense of self. They don't know who they are. They don't like who they are. They have no identity, so they have to construct one. And I feel like that is what has kind of happened with this person, because here you are with the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands. This person has feelings for you. Like, that is without a doubt the core of this, is it does feel like this person definitely sees you as somebody who is very valuable in their eyes. But I also feel that they struggle with letting you in because they don't like themselves enough to believe that they are worthy of being loved in the way that they ultimately desire. So as things go on, then they self-sabotage. They push you away, or they do something that causes the connection to fail. And it's not coming from this place of trying to hurt you and harm you. It's coming from this place of being so concerned with protecting themselves. And that, though we can understand, right, is not okay. Somebody understanding why someone does the things that they do, having empathy for it, is one thing. But that doesn't mean we tolerate the behavior, right? Because there's obviously some sort of a cycle here that needs to be broken. And I think that it's hard because, again, when this person comes back, or when they apologize, or when they let you back in, or whatever, because again, there's that push and pull. I feel like they say all the right things, they do all the right things, they show you this version of them that ultimately I feel like they desire to be, but they don't know how to be. They don't know how to be the person that believes that they are lovable and deserving. So they be who they think that they need to be. But then eventually, because they don't actually love who they really are, that mask falls off, who they believe that they are starts to come out. And then that's where the self-sabotage starts to happen. So I think that it's important to understand that the things that this person does and the ways that they behave, it doesn't have anything to do with you. It doesn't have anything, because literally the Knight of Cups in reverse and then the Chariot in reverse, it's like they start to get triggered and then they just slam on the brakes, whatever that looks like to you. And I feel like it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with the fact that they're really needing to heal and grow in ways that they don't allow this cycle to keep repeating and showing up in their lives, especially if they want to get to experience all of the wonderful things that you bring to the table. And on the flip side of that, Sagittarius, you are needing to know you do bring a lot of wonderful things to the table. And if somebody isn't treating you in alignment with all of the good that you bring, that's, again, yes, a reflection of where they're at, but you also you aren't deserving, nor do you need to tolerate that. So I do feel like there might be a need for stronger boundaries here with this person to make sure that your empathy for them and for where they're at and what they're going through and, doesn't override your empathy that you have for yourself, because your needs and your feelings matter. And somebody who struggles to believe that they are lovable and deserving of love is not going to be able to love you in the way that you deserve, because people can only love us to the extent that they love ourselves. People can only care for us to the extent they care for themselves. And if this person is, doesn't like themselves or love themselves, they're going to present you with a version of them that isn't who they really are, and that version of them is not going to be sustainable. And then they're going to withdraw their energy whenever they start to feel that you're getting too close, or that you're seeing them for who they really are. And that is literally nothing to do with you. There's, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you commit to being what it is that they, you think that they need you to be, it's not going to change where this person is at. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have the love that you deserve and desire. In fact, a lot of times, these cycles are actually teaching us how to love ourselves deeper than we ever really have before, so that we can attract the love that we ultimately deserve and desire, because you can have it. It does exist for you. And I feel like this person is playing an important role in your life to teach you how to love yourself just as much as you love others. In between this connection, you have love with detachment. I'm going to dive deeper into this reading in the extended, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.